So let's check out this new show From with Harold. I can't pronounce his last name. He's in like everything. It's about a town where apparently there are monsters at night. I want to see it. So we open and we hear a bell ringing, a diner's closing up. You know, it's about to be nighttime. Everybody got to get home. It's very San Francisco. So as she locks the door, we see there's a weird little charm on her door next to it. And she rubs it as she closes up shop. So we see it's Harold, who is the sheriff, and he's the one ringing the bell, telling everybody to get home. So now we've got an elderly Asian man with dementia. They're going to take him down to the basement and bring him up to play chess with his son the next morning. Dang, we got to hide our old people. Okay, you can tell there's a little bit of romance spark between the grandson and his granddad's caregiver. And the grandson is also the deputy. And they got one of them weird charms at the old folks' home too. So it's been 96 days without an incident, and we see that the sheriff sends the deputy on home. The sheriff, however, walks into the police station, and there's some guy sleeping on the floor, and his name is Frank. So Frank is apparently drunk. Meanwhile, Frank's family is waiting for him. His daughter misses him, and his wife is irritated. But now night has fallen upon the town. Oh, Lord, so we hear some tap, tap, tapping on the window, and then this voice says, "Megan, it's Grandma, come to the window." She said, "I ain't supposed to do that. You know that ain't your grandmama." Oh, this dumb little girl go over there, Grandma telling her it'll be our little secret. This heifer lifts up the shade, and there's Grandma. She gonna come through that window. Mama come up just in time, and she's like, "That ain't your grandma." This fool. The little girl lift up the window and Grandma put her hand in, turn into a monster. So let's see what happened next. This dry ass theme song they could have kept. So now it looks like we got an RV heading into town. So we see a sister kind of terrorizing her brother in the RV, telling him that monsters done killed his toy with their long claws, and little does she know she's about to meet him. But the next morning, the drunk dad waking up not knowing that his family got fucked up. He sees people talking in town. They talk about your people. So everybody gathered out in front of his house. The sheriff come out and start punching him. "You nail the window shut when you have kids." Now he dragged Frank in and showing him the bodies. He mad. So he tell the deputy to throw Frank in jail. Back with our RV people, they come to a tree in the middle of the road. Turn around. So the dad lifts the kid up so he can walk on the damn tree, and then we see all these crows come out, telling you to take your ass. Meanwhile, the sheriff go to visit his son at what looks like some type of orphanage. Yeah, it's some type of commune house, so we see the son painting this pretty girl. So he tell his son they lost a couple people last night, and you could tell the son ain't too happy to see him. So the dad wanted him to go to the service, but he said, "I'm too busy." Back with the RV family, they done found their way into the town. Oh, so they start driving through the town and see all the tires is flat because them monsters got long claws. So while we're at the service for the two that just passed, the RV with the new family pull up. And they want to know who these honkers. So the father walks up to the funeral and the sheriff said, "Look, now remember how it was for y'all. Just leave these people be. We'll handle it." I guess they gotta let them know they're probably stuck here. So the sheriff tell them how to get back to the highway and send them on, but I don't think they're gonna find it. Oh my goodness, so the family on the road, the daughter terrorizing her brother, but they keep driving and ended up right back in town. Didn't turn nowhere. I told you. So they asked somebody else in town for directions, but she don't speak. So the girl that they saw on the road talked to her brother, and she said, yeah, they still driving around thinking they're gonna find the road back home. That's the part that's cruel. Yeah, I'd be pissed. So now they arguing in the car because they can't find the right road. They went down the wrong road. So the sheriff and the deputy been seeing them drive around for an hour, and they figured they ready, so they going to get the strip. What strip? A tire brake strip? Oh my goodness, but then a car almost runs into them and they drive off the road in the RV. So the daughter okay, but Ethan got damn rebar through his leg. They all seem to be stuck in the damn car. I don't know what happened to the wife. Okay, so the guy that ran them off the road was drunk Frank. Yup, But back with the popo, they covering up tire spikes. However, they don't need them no more. Oh wait, it's not Drunk Frank, it's some other guy. He makes it to the police and tells them there's been an accident. Okay, now somebody else climbs out of the other car. The guy who gets out of the car though seems high. The sheriff handcuffs him to the door and goes to look for the RV people. So some of the townspeople ride by that commune house and tell the sheriff's son that there was an accident and they need his help. Back at the little hospital, the grandpa don't like the new guy that came in. So now the triage team has arrived to the accident site. They checking on the high guy and trying to get everybody out of the RV. So they got to stitch the kid up in the RV because he got a table leg through his leg. However, there's only 40 minutes of daylight left, so they might have to spend the night out there. Girl, so back at the hospital, we see the heifer with the brother ends up killing the guy that got into the accident. So now the son of the sheriff shows up, and the sheriff tells him, look, if the guy handcuffed to the car causes you any trouble, just let him go. The monsters can deal with him. So the deputy gets the remaining family that ain't stuck in the RV and tells them we gotta head to town. Oh, Lord. So we on the way back with half the family, but the deputy forgot to take the trap spikes out, so now they done fucked up the vehicle. Hopefully they'll get let in at Colony House, which is where the son's staying. So we in the RV trying to do the surgery, and the sheriff starts covering all the windows, and the father's like, why are you doing that? He said, I'm just trying to keep the RV safe. And he's like, safe from what? But child, they coming. Oh, and we see all these people walking towards the RV in the dark rain of night. And that's where the shit ends. It's pretty good. I'd say check it out. I'm gonna be watching it this season. Oh my goodness, we've got a second episode. Let's get to it. I want to know what happened. So we open with the deputy chopping down a tree. Girl, this theme song is a pain in the ass. Okay, so after the theme song, we go back to the RV, and it's right before the dead people start showing up, or the monsters start showing up. Little boy's getting the seizure on. So we all in the RV, and the father hears somebody ask outside, everybody okay in there? And he said, oh, they came back for us. And the cop and the nurse are like, no, nobody's come. You don't want to open that. We got to explain to you there are monsters. So now the cop got to fight him to keep him from opening the door. Meanwhile, the other group is running through the rain to Colony House. So they almost make it to the house, but the people in the house see them coming and they like, don't let them in. They're not our people. But the girl that the sheriff's son is painting is like, hey, my man out there, you better let him in. So the leader comes down and she says, look, let him in. Uh-oh, but now we got dead people on the porch. The cop's son shoots one, but all he does is shimmy. So they got to tie him up once they get in because there's a protocol. They got to make sure they ain't monsters. Back in the RV, the sheriff is telling the pappy, look, we don't know what them things are, but they ain't people. So the guy who was handcuffed to the car, they take upstairs. He's apparently been passed out. So they tie him down too. This heifer looking at him like she want to take advantage of him. She said he pretty even with the blood. Back at the house, the mama trying to go see her daughter, but the boss ain't allowing it. So the boss starts telling the mom about the monsters. Meanwhile, the daughter downstairs with the girl Fatima. She's the pretty one that Ellis, the sheriff's son, was painting. And she's like, girl, I'm gonna be your proxy and I'm gonna tie you and show you something, just don't act crazy. And she takes her upstairs and shows her Ellis is odd. So she shows her the window and tells her, don't look down, just look out. And it just looks out onto nothing, like there's the town and then there's just nothing. Back in the RV though, it sounds like them things is gonna get in. Back at the hospital, the guy that was in the accident first is just bled out. The one that the girl stabbed. And she's still in there rocking, saying she don't want to. So back with the boss and the mama, she telling her about the things outside and how they can't leave. So the boss tells the story of how she got there. Her and her sister ended up trapped there. Her sister got killed by one of them things and she hid. So back with the murderous sister, she's getting out the shower and her brother check on her and she's like, I didn't have a choice. Well, who was you talking to? Oh, Lord, back at the hospital, the nurse heifer goes to check on the guy who got stabbed, but then somebody opened the door and now the dead got in. Back in the RV, the sun's coming up, it's morning, we made it. So the murderous heifer is hearing voices and the voices told her to make it look like the monsters did it. She didn't want to do it though. See, this ain't the place to be schizo. So the sister told the brother, I also left the door open at the hospital, so we down a nurse. So of course they get back and the nurse is dead. Oh Lord, they done killed Grandpapa too? So now we cut back to the deputy chopping down the tree. I guess he taking out his frustration. And here come the sheriff. Oh, wait a minute. So the little boy in the hospital recovering as we close the show out, but he see one of them things out there in the daytime. Well, I'ma see you soon for whatever I watch next.